Most people think it'll take months to get their first 10 cleaning clients. I'm here to tell you that's not true. I've helped hundreds of people get their first 10 clients in 7 days using a simple 3-step system that works whether you're in a big city or a small city, and whether you have a ton of experience in the space or you're just starting for the first time. In this video, I'm going to break down the psychology behind why people hire new cleaning services and the exact approach that gets them to say yes immediately. So before we go into the 3-step solution, I'm just going to go over why people even hire cleaning services to begin with. It typically comes down to 3 main reasons. 1, convenience. People are busy. Between work, family, friends, hobbies, and everything else, they'd rather pay for peace of mind and saving their valuable time rather than spend hours scrubbing floors. 2 would be trust. Letting someone into your place of residence is a big deal. Your clients need to feel safe and know they're working with professionals that are respecting their space. And 3 ultimately are results. At the end of the day, the first 2 things do not matter if you can't deliver quality results consistently over a long period of time. People want to see that transformation, and that ultimately is the reason why they're signing up for your service to begin with. The beauty about this model is there is an ongoing need for this. You will not have to create demand for cleaning. Just look around wherever you're at. Every single place in every single building will need to be cleaned at some point in the near future, which is the beauty about getting into an industry like this. And while people know that, hey, people need this service, I think a lot of cleaning owners mess up for the following reasons. They try to serve everyone. They think that, yes, there's all these places that need to be cleaned. I should try and service every single person in every possible opportunity, not recognizing that there is nuances, there is niches even within the cleaning space to begin with, which ultimately will dictate how you're communicating to your customers and how you provide the highest and best value to those customers. The last point is people forget that they are in the people business. It's not just the cleaning business. And what I mean by that is everyone you speak to, there's a relationship being built, and therefore there's an opportunity for you to cultivate long-term trust, long-term reliability through great communication and service. Which brings me to my point, you don't want to be the cheapest option. Your job is to be the most trustworthy option that delivers quality results and convenience. That's what actually gets clients to say yes and keep coming back. By the way, if you want the complete system I use to scale cleaning companies past 10K a month, just hit the first link in the description below. That's it. Back to the video. So I know that kind of seems simple on face value, right? It's not complicated doing those things, being reliable, trustworthy, having great communication, and delivering a quality service, but those are really the fundamentals. And when you focus on the fundamentals, that's going to make your life easier for your clients, easier to build trust, and give them the results that'll ultimately give you those referrals and help grow your business further. Okay, cool. Now for the good stuff. Here's like the 3-step system that you can use to grow your client base within 7 days if you're just starting out. Mind you, there are other strategies that we put into place when I work with clients on a one-on-one basis, but these are going to be things you can take with you today so you can start getting things off the ground. Step 1 would be a warm market blitz. This is going to take a couple days to execute this strategy, so allocate 1 to 2 days to do this. And with this strategy, we're really just trying to address low-hanging fruit, right? Path of least resistance to get our first clients is the path we should take initially. So in saying that, it's best to start with people that you know in your local network. Now, probably the most awkward part you're already thinking in your mind is, I don't want to bug anyone. They're going to think I'm just hustling them. They're not going to want to sign up for my service. But in reality, that's just the voice of fear that's coming into your mind. So I would recommend thinking about that. That's just fear. How do I get over that fear so I can get over this mental block that I'm having? One of the things I would use is a shift in mindset. I think oftentimes whenever you feel like, hey, I'm talking to someone that I actually know about some service that I have, I'm selling them. And I think the reality is you need to shift that mindset to I'm serving them, because you're not begging or anything like that in terms of how you're approaching that conversation. You're offering a real solution to a real problem, right? They have a dirty place. They need to get it cleaned. That's a real solution. And you're making their life easier because of it. So that's the first point. I would just shift your mindset altogether. Second, I think the approach in terms of like tonality and demeanor does not need to be some huge sales guy going to these people and trying to get them to do something that they don't want to. You should come off honest but casual. And more importantly, I would tie a specific offer for your friends and family and local network to get things off the ground. So something I would say is like this. Hey, I just launched a professional cleaning company. I'm offering special rates for friends and family this week. So we're tying in a limited time offer component to this. And we're putting a special offer just for them so they feel like they're being spoken directly to. And then you can kind of pick 2 different options. You could go with the soft ask, know anyone who could use a hand, right? So you're asking for a referral, or you can ask them directly. Would that be something you'd be willing to try? Simple, no pressure. And I think the third part here in getting started is, remember, if they say no, that's fine. It's not personal, but most of the time people do want to help, especially when they see that you're taking real action, you're taking things seriously, and that you value this relationship so much so that you would reach out to them to see if they would like to help. So bottom line, this is an easy 24, 48 hour strategy you can can do to message or call your immediate network to get your first 2 or 3 clients just by going to your local network. In order to execute this, I would quickly just get 50 people that you know, put them down, put them in a database sheet, write them down, whatever is easiest, and then do outreach to 10 of them for 30 minutes at a time. And if you want, and I think this is the added secret sauce here, put some personalization between the messages. If you just send out something that's not personal to them, again, these are your local personal relationships, so they should have personal touches in these messages, right? That will go above and beyond and actually get them to respond at a much higher rate. If you execute all that, you should get around 2 to 3 clients just off of that, maybe even more. So that's the first step. Second step would be addressing your local neighborhood. So this is taking the clients that you just got from your local network and leveraging that to get even more clients. And the real strategy here is, how do you get their neighbors? Think of it as almost you're planting seeds across your service area or wherever you are locally, and the clients that you service first, you want to start building more lines of business within those small pockets and communities and neighborhoods that you're currently now cleaning. So the way I would do it, there's a couple different strategies here, but one could be door hangers, physical mail. Another can be actually just physically going around the neighborhood. But essentially what you're doing is you're letting the neighbors know that you already work with someone in the neighborhood, cleaning their house, providing great value, and doing their service. So just by mentioning their name, the street, the things like that, you're starting to build implicit trust and almost like a warm referral within a cold conversation. And this is obviously an easier strategy than just straight cold outreach because of that implicit relationship. So a pro tip, even when executing this strategy, I know that there's neighborhoods and the people that you service are there, would also be to look up what are the zip codes that have the highest income within those neighborhoods. So ideally that will allow you to pinpoint wealthier people that have more income to spend on premium cleaning services. And I've used this strategy at an 8-figure cleaning startup, and we've done hundreds of thousands of postcard drops to these kinds of pockets, and these have produced tremendous results. So this also works at scale. This works when you're just starting out. It's really about understanding what is the principle of how we're trying to approach and execute this strategy and the client that we're trying to attract. Once you've done those first 2 steps, you've targeted your local community, which should produce a decent amount of business. Now we got to go to the digital approach. And my recommendation, even if you're doing this fully remotely, you could do this in lieu of the things that I just mentioned, is first identifying where are your ideal customers online. And I can use an example for you so you can understand what I'm getting at. Let's assume that you're looking for mothers who have kids, families, and don't have enough time to clean their house anymore. The first thought you should have is, okay, where is their attention? Where are they spending time online that I can actually build a relationship and provide value to them and explain that I can be a solution to their problems? So a strategy that I would recommend is going to local online communities where moms would hang out. For example, local mom groups on Facebook or Nextdoor, which is your local online community for a specific service area. And from there, I would not put on my salesman hat and trying to post an ad for everyone to look at and sign up with me. That's not the point. These are local communities with social dynamics and social interactions, so you need to approach it in that way. And what I mean by that is you want to be building relationships first, services second. So my strategy, if I were to go to any of these communities, would first actually just engage with the community, get people to know who you are, have conversations, ideally transition those conversations either through your group post forums, things like that, to DMs. In there, you're having a conversation with a person one-on-one. Think of it almost like a mini sales call, but just online chat. And from there, you have an organic conversation with them, ultimately leading to, I do run a cleaning company. By the way, I'm running a special offer for this particular group, whatever the group is or the area is. If you're interested in our services, we've got a special rate for the remainder of the month or the beginning of the season or whatever you want to use as the offer, and wanted to see if you knew anyone that might be interested in this or you might be interested in it yourself. So that strategy will get more people online after you've built connections with them to sign up with you, especially in the early days when you don't have as much social testimonials to show. So if you're able to execute that strategy, and I would recommend doing around 30 to 50 outreaches per day, you should be able to get another 3 to 4 clients just from that outreach. Again, it's a specific approach based on who we're looking for from an ideal customer perspective, and then tailoring our conversation and our relationship that way. So those 3 steps, very, very simple path to getting your first 10 clients without going through a sophisticated marketing channel to get those clients. And then the third step here is when you're actually pitching all of these offers to these clients, you need to make sure that your pricing is in order. What I mean by that is we don't want to be the cheapest. We probably don't want to be the most expensive either, but we need to have an understanding of how much to charge. And my recommendation, I go through this with all of my clients, is that we run a comprehensive market analysis so you understand what are the actual numbers behind how you should price things based on packages and all of those other details, extras, add-ons. That way, when you do have that conversation with the client, you are understanding of exactly where you're priced and the reasons why you're priced there, and gives you confidence when you give them that price, which then will allow you to give discounts because you know the numbers. And if you know the numbers, you can incentivize incentivize clients to sign up for recurring packages with you, which ultimately will increase the lifetime value of the customer. And that's typically just the high level framework of how I like to go about the process of pricing and execute that. And just a quick little bonus here, if you're running into sales objections when you are offering your services, typically, I find there's a couple common ones people will run into, and I'll give you kind of my mindset to shift the frame of that call so your clients will be more prone to signing up for your services. So when someone says, oh, I need to think about it still, I'll get back to you, then I would say something like, totally understand, makes sense, understand that you have to think about it. It is a big decision. Just out of curiosity, what are those things that you have to think about still? So maybe I could address them in the call with you right now. So that's going to get the customer to open up and ultimately tell you what are the reasons why they're not moving forward with you, at which point you can talk about them, overcome them, or provide solutions and then actually have them sign up right on the call. Another one would be, I need to talk to my spouse. They usually make the decisions, or they need to help me with this decision, whatever it may be. Again, following a similar framework, I would then ask them, what do you think she or he will say when you go back to them? And that again is going to get them to tell you what they actually think of the service. That's almost like a smoke screen. Hey, what do you think they'll say? Because that's probably what they're actually thinking in their head. So again, once they tell you that, you can then address what is blocking them from actually making this decision to move forward. And then the third would be, hey, you guys are too expensive. And from there, really, we need to reshift the way that they're understanding value. So I think a lot of times people in the cleaning industry, they don't understand everything you have to offer. And that is where I would go through the things that my service does that are different from others. For instance, background check all your cleaners. Everyone's properly vetted. There's insurance, protection in place. And if anything ever happens, you've got a 100% satisfaction guarantee, right? These are the kinds of things that I would start to go into to demonstrate to them that it's not just some random person who may or may not even be from this country that's trying to clean their house, and that there is a certain level of service and value. Think about it almost like a hotel, right? There's a difference between the service of a 1-star hotel and a 5-star hotel. And sometimes people need to understand all of those things. And they're like, oh, there's a reason why they charge the amount they do. There's all these additional benefits. So it's the same principle here whenever you run into those kinds of price objections. Cool, guys. Everything I've told you in this video works, but only if you actually do the work. You can't just watch and be in analysis paralysis and hope that a client shows up on your doorstep. You need to make the calls. You need to do the outreach. You need to be okay with getting told no, and you need to be open to this process. Now, if you want to work with me directly to build a remote cleaning business that hits 10K a month in the next 120 days, click the first link in the description below. Mike hit 10K in 23 days of working with me. Sarah hit 10K within 30 days of working with me. Sam hit 20K within 45 days of working with me. And if you want to be the next case study, apply below. I'll see you in the next video.